Hey Sagittarius, this is your general tarot reading for Sagittarius, Sun, Moon and Ascendant or Rising sign for the month of April. Let's do what we always do, Sagittarius. We're going to shuffle the cards and wait on the right ones to come out for you, my love. And in the meantime, let's talk about the energies that you may feel throughout the month. So, we're leaving behind March, feeling the effect still. And we'll continue feeling the effect of the full moon in Libra, in your 11th house. And I think for you, there's a sudden realization from last month into this month of becoming very aware of your environment, where you are, where you live, the people you surround yourself with, certain friends, certain groups, certain teams in work. And there's a moment where you feel, I don't know if I can be this person anymore with this group of people. I don't know if I belong there anymore. I think my voice is getting drowned out by a crowd or a group of people. They're not listening, they're not paying attention. I think it's time for me to start going in my own direction, creating something for myself, doing my own thing, coming away from the trends, coming away from the crowd, coming away from what they want. I've got to be more individual. I've got to, with everything in my life, stand out a bit more, not hiding within a group of people or a group of friends, not disappearing somewhere in my environment, getting lost somewhere. Yeah, there's two cards come out, and look, the first card is the Sagittarius card. I know why it's coming out. We'll get there, we will get there. Then the Hermit Virgo card. Sagittarius, Virgo, okay. So, your mind is really focused on being more creative this month, getting out there and having fun, finding new people, new friends, new groups that you can have more fun with. It's very important in order for you to purge some of the heavier emotions that have happened in March for you. Some of the real emotions that came up and absolutely stuck in your brain, and you couldn't figure out why you were feeling certain unusual things. Feelings that should have long since been put to rest, there they were, cropping up. A lot of feelings to do with some family issues, childhood issues. Feelings that were coming up that you thought, why am I thinking of that now? Why is it important now? How the way I was brought up, the family dynamic that I was in, why is it melting my mind so much now? Well, it came up in order for you to see a few things. First, in order for you to see them so you can purge them now in fire season of Aries, purging through fire, to release some of these things once and for all. But also to recognize that, this is going to sound strange, I know, but you can't think your way out of a feeling. You have to feel your way out of a feeling. You have to feel it, let it rise up, don't judge it, just observe it, and then let it be purified. Let it go. So whatever has come up, the feelings of loneliness, feelings of, if I was brought up a different way, I could be a success now. Or if my family were better to me, then I would feel more supported. If I had X, Y, or Z years ago, then I wouldn't feel so victimized somehow now. So a lot of stuff like that could be coming up. And you'll be dealing with it still in this, say, the first 2 weeks of April. But know that the whole point of Aries season for you is to do two things. Purge that dampness, that excessive, unwanted, stagnant water stuff, emotional stuff that's been in you. But also, second, to know that the remedy to this is to have fun, is to laugh, and is to find new people perhaps, to have new romances with, to get creative with, to go out and do new adventures with, take risks with, be bold and daring with. Put your stamp on your life where nobody else owns it, The family don't own it. Your past doesn't own it. People that seem to be doing better than you don't own it. You're kind of caught between kind of feeling bad because of something that happened in the past, and also because you can't quite get to your future and stuck in this weird emotional moment. It will be purged. It will pass. Now there are three big things pushing this along. The first is, four big things actually. The first is the moons of last month and this month. Libra moon last month, and very unusually again, Libra full moon last month and Libra full moon this month again. And this is for you in your 11th house of building bridges between where you are now and your future direction. Kind of making peace with where you're supposed to be going in the future. Attracting the right type of people around you, attracting the right kind of environment, looking at groups that you aspire to be in, and rather than looking at your future and looking at these groups and saying, oh, I'm not as good as them, or I'm not good enough to take control of this and get the future that I want. Instead of doing that, it's time to actively build bridges and work towards getting into the right atmosphere. And what I'm feeling here too, Sagittarius, is the energy of constantly comparing yourself to other people. This shit has to go. You might be looking on social media, on Instagram, where everybody's beautiful on Instagram. And you might be looking at them and saying, my God, I'm really, really talented, but I'm not as adventurous as them, I'm not as brave as them, I'm not as beautiful as them, as bold as them, as rich as them. I mean, they're going into the future, not me. That's bullshit. Because as we know, everything on these social media platforms is all illusion, all of it, even on YouTube. I mean, all of it, it's all an illusion, and you can't be comparing yourself to anybody that you believe is way ahead of you, because that's not fair. That puts you in a feeling of almost wanting to give up, because too many people have just bypassed you and gone too far ahead of you. You'll never catch up. That's a lie. That's a lie, and that's a lie that social media will perpetuate. But you're waking up this month, April 19th particularly, it gets very strong, where you finally say, it's not a competition between me and them, between me and this person, between me and that friend, between me and these groups of people or the teams in work. It's not a competition. I have a lot to contribute here, and I can bring balance back to all of this and not try to change myself to be something that I'm not in order to catch up with everybody else. So I was getting that there. I don't know. I hope you understand where I'm trying to go with that. It's somebody said to me last month, I do read the comments, somebody said, why do you always stop when you say something and ask, do we understand? I actually laughed at that. It's because when I get to you, Sagittarius, the themes very often get quite higher minded, of course, being Sagittarius and tuning into your energy, I expect that. But it's not that I don't think you understand, it's I wonder if I'm explaining it right, it's me. So if you ever see me doing that, stop saying, do you understand what I mean? It's not me saying, are you dumb? It's me saying, have I actually explained it in a way? Because these are big themes that I'm trying to get my brain around. So that's the vibe. But this is what's going to be playing out for you. Now, to add to that, your ruler, Jupiter, on April 10th is retrograding in the first house. And again, the first house is our appearance, the vibe we give off, the aura, which we spoke about last month. What is it that you're giving off? Have you been trying to be something you're not in order to get into a group, into a social scene, to not feel like that you're being left behind? Have you pulled and dragged out of your image to try to be something you're not? But that's not fair. That's where balance is going to be coming with the full moon this month. Yes, it's a wonderful idea to look good and to always look at the trends and the fashions, but to see how, not how you adapt to it, but how it can be adapted to you. Jupiter is slowing down. Well, he's not really, but it seems like he's slowing down. His energy is just pulling back a little bit in order to ask you to look at this first impression you give off. And the other thing I'm feeling here too, Sagittarius, that you're very deep. There's a lot going on with you. You're a fire sign, which means that people are glad to sit around you like a campfire and listen to you. They appreciate your presence, your personality, and everything that you can emit and share. But the problem is, how do you get people to enjoy something if they don't realize that that's what's on offer? So imagine you work in a store. Anybody who's worked in a store or marketing will know that you can have the absolute best product. But if you're not out there inviting people in, putting out a good window display, putting out good adverts, you're not going to entice people. You're not going to make them stop long enough to come in and say, oh my God, this has been missing from my life all along. Thank you for showing me this. They're just going to keep walking past. So Jupiter is saying, do you feel that people are just walking past and they're not benefiting from the one who has the mind of the gods, which is you, the one who has great illumination, which is you, the one who understands things, which is you? Are people not standing still long enough to appreciate that? And is that anything to do with the vibe you're giving off? So, for example, if you are somebody who has a lot of wisdom about a certain subject, do you look the part? Can you gladly walk into a room of strangers and say, listen, I know a lot about this subject? And can they look at you, and when they look you up and down, as the phrase goes, the first bite is with the eye, can they actually say, stop long enough to get involved with you, open up into a conversation with you? So Jupiter always wants to expand something. So now he's gone inwards, retrograding, and he's expanding your concept, your whole philosophy about who you are and what you give off, in order to give you the gift and the blessing to attract the right things into your life, the right future potential, the right teams around you, the right environment around you. Yeah, so that's going to be going on. Now, we have April 24th, Pluto retrograding. April 30th, Saturn retrograding. See what I mean? It's a heavy month. Yeah, heavy for me to explain too. It's happening in your second house. Now, Pluto is also going into opposition a lot with your North Node in the 8th house. Breathe. So, this is a lot to do with two things. Firstly, Pluto is asking you, well, over the last year, have you really taken control of your money? Have you really shown who's the boss? Are you in control here? And you might be looking around, are you talking to me? I've worked very hard to get a handle on my money. I've worked very hard worrying about my money, and I think I've done a good job. And you have. You have, Sagittarius, you really have. But now he's saying it's time to really go inward and almost like get a whole new system of belief about how you own your financial world. It's the questions might come up with, if you're trying to make money, are you kind of doing gimmicky things? Are you kind of doing things that kind of only have short-term results? Are you doing things a bit here and a bit there and a bit there that aren't empowering you and can't go the long haul with you. It's like I'll work here and then on contract work I'll do a bit there and a bit there and a bit there. If it's not sustainable, giving you long range financial power, then this is going to be a real problem. So Pluto is really coming in and he is really kind of saying, you know, he's a bully. He is a bully, so prepare yourself for this. He's going to say, either be the boss or be bossed when it comes to making your money. Be the boss or be bossed. So it's time to get serious. And also with Saturn retrograding, the one who is serious, Mr. Serious Pants, he's retrograding again in the second house. Well, have you put a structure together to make good, solid, stable money that you can depend on? Have you used your ambitions wisely? Have you used your talents wisely to make long-range money? Have you invested in a pension? Have you invested in healthcare? Have you invested in yourself? Have you bought all the right tools and equipment to project yourself into the future? Have you stopped spending willy-nilly so that you actually can hold on to some of your coin? You see, these are two brutal energies coming in, and I know it's very easy to say, oh no, I hate them, I don't want that heavy energy in. But remember, these are masters, these are guides, these are the ones who you will absolutely learn from. They come in and they teach us hard lessons, but they'll be lessons we never forget. Never, never, never. These are karmic energies finally releasing you from some old philosophy or old habit about money. Maybe some of you always feeling that there's an easy way out because you're quite an optimistic sign, Sagittarius, which we all love. But when it comes to you and your relationship with money, is it time to let go of this thing of, it'll be fine, it'll be all right, something will turn up. These two heavyweights are coming in to say, maybe it will, but can you count on it? Because I think this shit is going to make you unhappy unless you change your whole perception of how you make money. And as well as that, about where you get your support from. With the North Node in the 8th house, it's about who can you depend on. If you have new projects, which could really be happening this month with all the energy, new moon in the 5th house, Venus, on April 20th in the 5th house, Mercury April 17th going into the 5th house, and the Sun is also there in the 5th house in Aries, starting new projects, starting new things, getting enthusiastic, fired up, surrounding yourself with people who will encourage you, take risks with you, kind of jump in with you and get stuck in with you. Can you also do these new projects and new things with a sense of, I'm building this to last. I'm creating this to last. I'm making this happen and having fun doing it so that it will carry me through into my future in a way that I love, in a way that makes me happy. So you see, Aries season is rescuing you this month, because with these two heavyweights and also Jupiter kind of turning inward a little bit, saying, get serious, get serious. Aries is saying, yeah, but here's the trick. You can listen to them, yeah, but you can balance this off by doing something long range with your money that is fun. You can still be serious and still have fun. In fact, I think the gift that you might get by the end of all of this, around September, October, is fully learning and grasping and running towards your future, knowing that a fun thing can be your new future financial direction. A fun project. Yeah. There's so much going on. Now, April 20th, Sun and Taurus in your 6th house. Time to get organizing. Some of you might be really looking at your health, your fitness, as with Jupiter retrograding in the first house, it might be time for you to really focus on getting your body in good shape. It doesn't have to be huge, it doesn't have to be anything, but it just has to be about getting enough energy in your system that you feel that you can keep on working, keep on moving, keep on going. So that's a good thing to happen. And also, some good stuff might be happening in work for you by April 20th. Yeah, but it's a lot. You've got Mars in Gemini in the 7th house as a mercurial card. Comes out quite Gemini style. Mars all through the month in Gemini, saying that it's other people that fire you up and that you can fire up too. There's great enthusiasm this month, Sagittarius, between you and other people, getting lit up, getting fired up. Come on, let's go, encouraging each other, which in turn takes away that awful thing that you're leaving behind, which is comparing yourself to other people or other situations and then giving up. Now it's like, let's get back up, let's stand up and start encouraging each other again. The only thing to watch out for, really, is that you're so fired up and so enthusiastic that you may end up saying something to a bunch of people who are just not ready to hear what you want to say, and it could draw a little bit of wrath from them, you know. Not everybody will be loving Aries season. Not every sign loves this fieriness. So just be cautious that you kind of don't try to burn them up, you know. But that's the vibe. There's a lot more going on, but we'll probably see it through the cards. So we have 5 cards, Sagittarius. Let's not shilly-shally any further and let's start choosing some other cards. Yeah. As I'm reading, it's kind of funny because this kind of came out and then this pushed itself out. It's funny because on one hand, it's a kind of a dual energy. On one hand, I'm really feeling it when you're in that zone of feeling, I've got to get out of this slump. I've got to get out of feeling like other people are doing better than me or look better than me or live a kind of a life that I can't have type of thing. I'm feeling that, but at the same time I'm also feeling all that Mars energy and the positive energy and the full moon energy of you saying, time to get back into the driver's seat, getting the right people around me and pushing into the future, not comparing myself to those bitches anymore. I'm going to make something of myself, you know. So I think you also might be feeling a little bit of that seesaw. So just bear in mind that you're not going mad when that happens. It's just something you're purging. And the Aries season energy is going to help you, as I said, help you stoke those fires up again and burn up all of the old shit. Yeah, choose cards now, 4 more cards. Ooh, this came out. I'm not surprised he showed up. This is Capricorn, this is also Saturn, and he is making a big effect for everybody this month. So he's making an appearance, he's letting you know, at least he has the courtesy of showing up and saying, excuse me, I'll be making an appearance this month. Do please pay attention. So yeah, at least you've been warned. 2 more cards. Strength. You'll get strength by the end of the month. This pushed itself out. And the higher wisdom is driving all that. If you see the first card and the last card, Sagittarius, and the new moon, and also your perception of things is changing, so it's all good. I like the vibe. So let's move over, Sagittarius, ta-da, to your big grand overview. Now, let's see, we open up with Sagittarius. This is you. You are on your mind this month as we open the month. It's all about you. Who am I? What do I need to clean up? What do I need to cleanse? What truths do I need to tell myself? You know, the goddess Iris, 1 foot in the water, 1 foot in her emotions and 1 foot on dry land. Kind of like the energy I just said a few moments ago. 1 foot in the emotions and 1 foot kind of steady and sure on dry land. The irises here, like the goddess, symbols of communication, and the cups flowing, symbols of purification and good communication. But it's also a fire card, fire purifying the things you tell yourself, how you speak to yourself, the narrative that runs inside your own self, like I am not good enough. That's being cleaned and cleared, because that's bullshit. That's other people's stuff. It's not for you. Can't compare yourself to these people. And look, we have the energy of the hermit, taking time alone the first 2 weeks in the month. Certainly will still be in that zone of quiet time, spending time alone, meditating, very much like last month. And using this quiet, private, emotional, psychic space to clean up, to cleanse, but to also be very diligent and prudent and observant of who you are. What? He's holding the light up and saying, well, who are you? Jupiter retrograding. Who are you? You keep comparing yourself to other people. You keep saying your life isn't where it should be. Well, let's take a good long look at this, so that we can finally come to some sort of wisdom here, with patience. Patience for yourself, to heal this once and for all, so that bridges can be built into your future. But here we see the energy too of strong will to examine closely your motivations for the projects that you're doing, the work that you're doing, your motivations for how you make your money, your motivations for how you're not making money, the motivations towards why are you letting your self-esteem get so low. Kind of holding up that light and saying it's time to observe this. We can't. This is Aries season, which is all about purging and having fun. But in the meantime, in the background, the hard, heavy work is being done here of why? Why have I allowed my confidence to get so low at times? Why don't I encourage myself the way I encourage people? I'm so free to, tell people to go on, you can do it, it'll work out, you'll be great, it'll be fine. But when it comes to me in my private space, when I'm all alone, do I tell myself the same thing? So there's a lot going on. Now the energy of Virgo here, Virgo sun, moon or ascendant, could be the one that kind of draws this out in you. They could be quite instrumental, a catalyst, maybe positively or negatively, to force you somehow to see some truth about your direction in life, how you feel about yourself. Maybe a Virgo family member who you might be who might point something back at you. With the Mars and energy in the 7th house, they might say something, well, you blah, 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 you think you're this when you're really that. But it's what they say that, even though it probably wasn't said in the right spirit, there was some truth to it. And you say, well, let me examine that. Is that true? And then you get over it. Then you figure it out. Quite a mercurial card. Mercury moving from thinking about feelings to moving on April 17th to thinking about happiness and joy and getting you back into a good space. Yeah. Now this is a Mercury and Sagittarius card. How you speak to yourself. What do you think about yourself? What do you communicate to yourself? As I said, you're happy to cheer other people on. Why don't you use that same enthusiasm to speak so quickly to you when you're feeling down? I mean, are you quick to say, stop that, stop feeling so down, okay, okay, shit is happening, that's fine, we'll deal with that, we'll face it, we'll sort it out, but you can do it, we can get through this. Can you communicate that magic to yourself? Because when you do, I think something changes. You come to a crossroads where you take a new path. So the self narrative has got to change, and I think it will. because when it does, magic will come. But we've two mercurial energies there beside you. Very strong Virgo influence, Sun, Moon or Ascendant. Gemini also, Sun, Moon or Ascendant, who you get on very well with. These people could be strong catalysts for change in how you speak to yourself. For some of you, there might be a lot of strong energy thrown at Gemini. You've got Mars in Gemini. Positively, you and Gemini could be coming up with some great ideas, communicating with each other, getting a real buzz going, getting some fire and enthusiasm going. On the other hand, be kind to poor Gemini, because I think that you might say something very blunt and frank to a Gemini that might actually hurt their feelings. So if something needs to be said to a Gemini, even though they're cool, they're fun, and they're light-hearted, they're still softies. So do try not to hurt them, you know. But there is magic coming for you. And magic in something you're communicating, you're creating, you're launching, you're trying to get off the ground, you're pushing, you're driven to do something creative on your own. I do believe that's going to be a success for you, Sagittarius, this month. Very much so. And if it's an issue with worrying about, I want to launch this thing or do something by myself, create something by myself, but I'm concerned about how to fund it. I'm concerned about how I can do this and not lose out on money. I think that'll be a theme, but I think through the month you'll get over that. Maybe we'll talk more about that in the deep read. But mid-month, here we have you changing tack. You know a victory will come when you totally change your opinion, your perception, your vision, your mind about someone or something. And it's a strong turnaround. The magician has offered you a new way of doing something. And I think it's time that you saw that you need a new strategy in your life. And this new strategy helps you walk away from some of these heavier emotions and heavier feelings. It's like you're opening up your heart and letting all that old stagnant emotional gunk come out and to clear up that space. But this needs strategy, it needs mind energy, and it needs you to be able to manage it in a way that's long-lasting and enduring. Okay, this is a Venus in Aries card. So April 20th, Venus moves into Aries in your 5th house. Building something solid and declaring, this is what I'm doing. An announcement. Are you announcing something important? Announcing news of something? Maybe you might hear news of somebody announcing something very important. So that could be something that's happening. It could be a marriage, it could be a party, an event, a baptism, something like that. There's an important news that kind of makes you feel shocked and surprised by this announcement. So that's one way of saying this. Now, this is also about putting four corners on something that you're passionate about and starting to spread word. It's almost like, if some of you are launching something, it's almost like this is the best month, or this is the good month for you to start advertising, start sharing what you're doing, start telling people about what your plans are. Certainly to start brainstorming, but to start feeling that I am taking control of my money situation, I'm taking care of my long-range finances, I'm getting all the right people surrounding me that can support me as I do this, and I'm going to put the word out that this is what I need. For those of you who have a vision board or anything like that, future visions, write it down. Say, this is what's going to happen. And I'm sending word out to the future, to the cosmos, that this is where I want my life to open up towards. Yeah. But here we have himself, the devil himself. He appears, but look at the fire sign, you squaring him off face to face, not one bit afraid. Look at this guy. He's not just slouched down in fear or terror. He's in a kind of a stance of, go on, Say that again. Make me get up off this seat. It's almost like, say one more thing. Don't make me get up. You remember like when we were kids, when one of your parents would say, don't make me go there. Don't make me get up off this chair. Yeah, it's a bit like that. That's you looking to Saturn, kind of saying, don't push me too hard. Don't make me go there. But what you're then realizing is that he is kind of teaching you something very important. So he's not getting up off the chair to go and kind of hit him with his magic wand yet, because he's stopped long enough to listen to the wisdom. But he's not afraid. He's not afraid. You see, he's not afraid. And he's draped in gold, gold alchemically symbolizing that a great transformation has happened with you, that you suddenly find the illumination where your soul is transmuted in some way to understand and appreciate the lessons of Saturn here this month. And if you see what Saturn is doing, he's doing the as above, so below symbol. And he's saying, what is chaining you? You see, that's always what he wants to do. What is blocking you? What is limiting you? What is keeping you prisoner? What is holding you back, holding you down from your freedom? Because every time you fear me, every time you believe that I have control, I'll take that control. It's up to you now, Sagittarius, to take the control back from me. You know, it's like a game. I have this. Can you jump high and take it from me? Can I what? I can smack that right out of your hand with this big stick. No problem. I won't even get into a sweat and put your crown back up. But that's what he's doing. He's forcing you to see above, as above, so below. If your money isn't right, and if your quality of life isn't where it should be, that shit very often comes from the inside. Not being able, or not having had the opportunity to clear up some fears, some low self-esteem issues, some doubts about yourself, some long-held childhood issues perhaps as we go through the start of the month. You know, what's chaining you? Because I do believe by the end of the month, you do get it. You get it. It all makes perfect sense now. And you use that stick to break what was holding you. So the smallness of you can be free to grow, develop, and expand with Jupiter when he goes back direct around August, you know. Going inward to retrieve what was lost so that you come back out stronger. Some of you could really be going face to face with somebody this month about a money issue. Really, really pushing hard to make sure that you're not walked over in some way by someone concerning a money issue. I think you'll get the best of that situation too. But what I love is this, your final couplet. Strength and the High Priestess. You have the devil and you have the High Priestess, both creatures of the underworld. Well, she's not originally from the underworld. She was brought there and she walked through hell, and she's been through hell and back, and she's learned to come out the other side. This is a new moon card, new moon in the 5th house in Aries, and this is a Leo card. Leo is 5th house energy. So I think you're emerging with more courage, more joy. You're slaying the demons. You're beginning to slay the demons, definitely. Between now, September, October, it's a bit of work, but I think you'll see it already. You'll see it this month, Sagittarius. That your intuition, your ability to come out from that underworld place where you will not be held back and chained anymore. You will not be prisoner to your emotions. You will not be a prisoner to your past. Instead, you will rise, rise, rise with courage, with strength, with playfulness, and with a sense of being able to command the direction of your life. I love that. I felt such strong energy, Sagittarius, reading that. A lot of fire coming back in you. And this is what you need. You need that fire magic. You need it to bring you out of this underworld place that you had been in. And it's success. 5th house energy this month is strength, success, and the ability to stand up again and hold your ground, doing your own thing. I love it. I love it. My beautiful, you know what we do. You know that this is just the general landscape of the month. If you want to go into the bigger details of relationships, Moon in the 7th house, very key subject for you, relationships. Those of you looking for love, we'll find out what it's like out there to find love. We'll talk about money, we'll talk about your career, we'll talk about family issues, friends, things. We're going to talk about anything that crops up, all in the VIMEO readings, the deep read. So you know where to go by now, but it's all linked down there below. So do come along, Sagittarius, so we can open all of this out and find out how to get through some of the things this month, and find out what some of the more pleasant things are this month with all that Aries season energy for you. So the deep read, link down there below. So my beautiful, I'm going to leave it at that, and I'm going to wish for you that you really benefit from Aries season and take all that fire and take all that energy and make it into your magic month to change and grow and be transmuted into gold. So that's my wish for you, and I'm going to leave it at that. As always, Sagittarius, I'm going to leave you with all my love and a great big kiss, mwah, from me to you. Until next month, my gorgeous. Bye.